be obedient, but they've also got to save your bacon. They've got to stand up when you put them in a really bad spot and they need to dig you out of a hole. So if they don't learn how to do that, when the jumps are small, when they're young, they're sure as hell not going to learn to do it when they're older. And I think that when you're jumping, right from the beginning, you can really teach the horse to be clever, to be handy with his feet. Just the basics, like when you're out for a ride, going up and down banks, through little dips. And nowadays, we're really guilty of doing too much work in arenas, on perfect surfaces, on gallops. Everything for horses now is becoming more and more perfect. The horse's brain is being more and more disengaged because he doesn't have to be a horse. He has to be this amazing athlete that jumps ridiculous jumps from ridiculous angles. And sometimes you get caught out. So here we're going to just start off jumping a few little things, and it's not about height. We're not worrying about height. Event horses don't have to jump very big. Sure, the show jumping is now getting bigger, but overall, most half-talented horses could jump around a decent event track. And here the jumps are staying small, so that if the rider or the horse makes mistakes, hopefully they'll learn from it, but they won't be punished by that. So I believe in starting jumping on most of my horses from trot. I think that we all hate jumping from trot. The amount of times you go trot at that and everyone will look at you and go, really? Much rather canter. So get in trot, the horse has to learn to be a bit quicker with his feet, a bit of handy footwork. And when he's learned to do that, he can also learn that you can correct him better without the speed. You can hold him straighter, he'll learn what he's doing, he'll see what he's doing. And quite often you can inherit an older horse, an experienced horse that's jumped around however many tracks, and you really get the feeling that he has no recollection of what he's gone over. He's just done it because he's been honest, gone fast, and the jumps are sort of passed beneath him. When you slow him down and say, look at what you're doing, there's no way, I've never seen that before. And I think, it is worth remembering that horses do have a real memory, not a brilliant brain, but a real memory. And if you can teach them as a young horse to meet all sorts of different things, different angles, they'll then retain that. And in that moment of need, they'll hopefully be able to chip in a stride and just be that little bit clever. So we're going to start off, you just come a little bit nearer. We talked about balance, we talked about rhythm, but I'm also quite big on short stirrups. And some of you look like you're a bit too long. Okay, you've got to be able to, in your cross-country position, you've got to be able to be clear of the saddle. You should not be galloping along between fences, whacking your backside in the saddle, not quite in your own balance. So you've got to be clear of the saddle. Fine, when you come down, you want to be at a length of stirrup that you're comfortable with. But very often you see people galloping along cross-country and their legs are kind of dead straight, kind of swinging, and they're in this bolt-up position, and they're not in balance with the horse. So, your stirrups are too long, yours are okay, yours are too long, yours are too long, and yours are too long, and yours might be too long. Right, so let's shove them up, put them short enough that you're a little bit uncomfortable. You're not going cross-country. The thing people do is they put their stirrups at a length that they're comfortable when they get on. And it's amazing how, when you warm up and when you get into jumping position, what was comfortable sitting still at your horse box is no longer comfortable when you're in the start box. And I very often, I have plenty of time to think about these things, but I would get on, I'd get on in hole 10, I'd warm up in hole 12, and I start jumping at hole 14, or sometimes 15. And that's what I do always, and I know exactly what I'm going to do. Because if I get on at hole 15, I'm all, oh, that's not right. You're a bit cold, the horse is a bit cold, and you just have this pattern, my stirrups go up and up and up. And I know when I go cross country on hole 14 or 15, depending on how, obviously a smaller horse I'd have a slightly shorter stirrup on. I know when I go out that start box, I'm not going to get to fence 3 and go, oh, damn. Where are my stirrups? Because it's too late. But I think little details like that, you know what's right for you and the horse. And it is a fact that when you get on and you put yourself in short stirrups, they will feel too short, but they should. And even if you've got short legs, you still need to have a bent leg. A bent leg is a stronger leg than a straight leg. And that's the fact. But I always, the people with short legs, they're used to having short legs, like I'm big and I'm used to being big. It's not an excuse.